Hey, what's going on, people? Tonight, my favorite fighter, Izzy, is back in action. And one thing I'm noticing about this is I think people are overthinking Izzy and how this fight's going to go. So, big thing is like at this level, fights aren't decided by obvious things. They're decided by like small, repeatable edges, which Izzy has proven time and again. He can do this, and I'll go over more about how I think Izzy is going to be able to do this when I review the main event later on in this episode. But I want to get started with my results. I'm finally, after one bad card, I'm back even. Last week with Evolve and Murphy, it was a great card. I was up on the night 2.34 units, which now brings me over for the year, a good old 0.09. So at least I'm positive. I want to build on the momentum. And honestly, even my predictions were on fire. That card, I got 11 out of 2 right. And technically, it should be 11, 1 and 1 minimum, depending on how you scored the Murphy and Evolve fight. I thought it was at least a draw, but I'm no judge, so who fucking knows? But I guess that's what it says. The saying goes, don't let things go to the judge's card. But yeah, no, it's pretty good. I think the 2 bets that carried us was Woods money line and Silva money line, just hitting those 2 dogs. And which I was saying in that my last episode, they were just mispriced in the sense like the other guys might have been better prospects or like that, they're pushing them. But on the betting side, it wasn't great to bet against these guys. I think it was just worth taking the risk, which we paid off this. So off to UFC Fight Night in Seattle, Izzy versus Pyfer. So this one is another good fight night card. I'm actually pretty excited. There's a couple good fights on this card that I'm super excited about to see what happens. Some guys coming back, some prospects getting another shot. So we will get started like we always do with the main event. Izzy Stylebender, Adesanya versus Joe Pyfer, the good old Philly boy. So this one, I'm going to keep it very simple. Like I said, this is a very big step up in Pyfer. Pyfer's a great fighter. He's up and coming. And my thought process on this fight is they're trying to get Izzy a good name that he can beat to get him back up and running. I think after the break and him losing to Emov, he regrouped. He's pretty good about this stuff. He doesn't let shit affect him. I think he's gearing up for another run of at least good fights that he wants to fight, maybe challenge for the title. I'm not sure, but I think he's gearing up for his last run where he's going to do a string of, 3 to 4 fights, 5 fights, who knows, depending on how active he wants to be. But I think this is what they want to set up to start off with him, like fighting some guy that people know. People know who Joe Pyfer is. He's up and coming, like he's had a couple good fights, but this is a big step up in competition. And the way I'm breaking this fight down is it's just Izzy's fight IQ is just too hard. He's going to control the distance, feints, and Pyfer is an underrated grappler, but he's not a grappler on any caliber. I think that can overcome Izzy's takedown defense. One thing, though, we have to be aware of, and I wouldn't hate anyone for doing it, is Pyfer can, and he has the power and the capability to, because he is heavy-handed, to get him with a little bit of burst of power and catch Izzy on the chin. Because that's the one thing, too, is, it's Izzy's age. He's kickbox before this. It's not like he just did MMA. He is susceptible to getting got in the chin. Pereira caught him, but not everyone has stone hands like Pereira. But that is always a distinct possibility. I just don't think it's in the range of outcomes, especially because I can get Izzy, and I did get him on DraftKings at minus 135. So getting him that, I think it's been a while since we ever were able to get Izzy at that kind of price tag where we're almost getting even money, 20 away. It's so I just had to take it at minus 135. And it's funny, I was paying attention to the line, started minus 120, minus that, and then went up to 150, and then it came back down today where I just took it at 135. So that's, I think, an easy one for me. Don't. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I just think it's good. And the cool thing is, I think Izzy's at his price tag right now is great for a small 2 or 3 leg parlay that people want to like get some of the favorites in and get a little bit of action on that, which I'm going to go over one of mine once we get to the prelims and going over doing a nice little parlay. We get nice plus money on a couple of the guys, so we get a little. And then the next fight of the night is an exciting flyweight. I think if not next, it'll be the second next to like flyweight title fight is Alexa Grasso versus Maycee Barber. Like if they don't get the next shot, they'll get the one after that. A nice little rematch, but I don't really want to count they've had so many fights since that rematch that I think we can kind of like throw that shit to the wind and not worry about it. Maycee Barber's on this impressive win streak. She's just been annihilating people. And Alexa Grasso, I think, 2-fight losing streak, a draw, and like that. But we have to think about it, like 3 of those fights, she beat Shevchenko, drew her, and lost to her. So like she was fighting like the best women's fight right now, easily. Like I don't think anyone can challenge her right now. So keeping that in mind, I think it is unreal that you're getting a former champ and someone who's as good as Grasso is at plus money. I see her right now. I got her at plus 160. I think like this fight, no one's going to show pure dominance. You got to use your brain a little bit and say like any one of these women can fight. So the smart thing to do is put one unit or like whatever you want to put, half a unit. I'm going to put one unit. I'm just putting on Alexa Grasso separate. I'm not putting it in because it is, the fight could go either way. I don't want it to break a parlay, but I'm getting plus money. So like I'm going to win 1.6 units. That's a no-brainer to me. And there's no disrespect to Maycee Barber, but I think she loses out on the striking to her. Just Alexa thinks she's just better and a more slick kickboxer. I mean, not kickboxer, boxer. Uses her movement. Will be able to keep things going. And especially as the fight goes on, I think Grasso's will slowly accumulate small edges. But one thing is, Maycee is great at takedown. Her takedown offense is, I think, better than Grasso's. But Grasso is still a very capable grappler. I don't think it's that much. Maycee's that much better. She'll be more offensive with her grappling and takedown offense than Grasso will, but I don't think she'll be able to like take her down and keep her. So I just see this fight going in Grasso's favor, especially at like getting plus money on that. If honestly, if Barber was plus money, I would take Barber too. I think that's how close this fight's going to be. But I think it's going to be a good one. That's the nice thing is they're putting on 2 people that will like are going to throw hands. So it's going to be fun. Like, especially because the next fight before this, they're putting old man out to pasture. Like Nico Price just got knocked out like a month ago, maybe less than a month ago now. I can't really fully remember. And this is his retirement fight. He's just doing it for, I think he's trying to get his last bag. And then Michael Chiesa is also retiring, I think, after this, they said. So these are 2 older guys, but in the sense where Chiesa still has a little bit of chin on him and a little bit of like durability. Nico Price is on. I'm pretty sure they're just like, this is like the old Yeller, like putting him out to pasture, taking him back here, killing kind of thing, which is unfortunate. You don't want to see that. But with that being said, there's really no great bet. So he's just like, for me, like Chiesa's like minus 800. One thing you could take is Chiesa by submission. It's like minus 175, which still is a little bit too rich for my blood for like this, because I could also just see Chiesa just getting a knockout, like the mystical knockout, which that's plus money. So just because I just don't have a read on how this fight will end, and it's mostly just because Nico's like donezo. I just know this fight's not going the distance. That's that's not great odds either. Chiesa's win. I'm going to put him on the lottery ticket bet, but other than that, I'm not having him on any single situation. Next is, I think, kind of an exciting fight. I know people are a little bit overblowing him. I don't think this guy is as good as, they're giving him the thing like, he's like the Brazilian Ilia Topuria, Douglas versus Erosa. But I do think Douglas will be able to get this done. He's just, he carries big power and like he's heavy-handed and he's also explosive with the strike. It's not like he's just slow. So like he kind of like combines like forward pressure and like making his opponent uncomfortable with like just strikes out of nowhere. With that being said, that's why I can see Erosa getting caught. Even though, as a technical standpoint, Erosa is a better technical striker, more volume, very good experience. But the issue is Erosa, his chin has worn down over time. He is the more experienced fighter, but it's just tough because, I think I have a big belief that the chin, once it starts to show signs of wear and tear, you're not getting back. So I think just matchup wise, because Erosa's mainly a striker too. He's not like he's like a grappler. He's going to keep this to the ground or anything like that. He does have the edge just because of experience and he's been competing in the UFC way longer than this is Douglas's first fight. And he is a black belt, but it's just the way Erosa fights. He doesn't really, he can threaten submissions, but he doesn't get there that much. I mean, doesn't really force it. This would be more of a striking fight to me with how it's been. He is opportunistic and he got 2 finishes of his last 4 fights. 2 have been sub finishes. So it's not that he's not capable. I just see them just sticking to the feet. And then if it goes to the feet, I just think Douglas will by finish. I'm going to avoid this fight though. I'm not making any bets on it. I'm going to put it on the lottery ticket, but I think Douglas gets it done. And then I think the next fight is low key my pick for fight of the night. It's Monsieur Abdul-Malik versus Yoshiri Belgaroui. Belgarou's a guy after my own heart. Glory kickboxer, high level kickboxer. Lost to Izzy, fought Izzy, beat Pereira, lost to Pereira, like that. And then he just did the smart thing. He literally took his whole family. They moved to Connecticut and they're training under Glover and in Pereira's gym. So that's like super smart. I'm excited to see where he's, how he's going to grow and stuff like that. But I kind of like boil this fight down to, can Belgaroui keep him at distance and just like do that and not get taken out? Because like Abdul-Malik is a D1 wrestler with the height discrepancy, 6'2", 6'6", gives Abdul-Malik perfect like height difference to change level and just get to his hips. And, and that's all it depends. Like because he is a capable striker. Abdul-Malik is not a bad striker by any means. He has power that he's not as technical as Belgaroui, but he's getting there and he's still young. So it's like, I think that's like, he's developing, but is he going to do the smart thing or the dumb thing? And at the same time, my guess is, and I don't know, I didn't have any like ear in camp, or I don't know how they did it. Glover and Pereira and then like working with Belgaroui is like, they're working on their takedown defense, knowing that this is what Abdul-Malik can do. Nice thing is, I think because Belgaroui is good at keeping the distance and straight shots, knees, that kind of stuff, some of his strikes will line up well against a takedown. And so but I think getting plus money on Belgaroui is just like too good to pass up, where he is a very good fighter. And not that it's any disrespect to Abdul-Malik, I just had to go with the kickboxer. So getting plus money, I'm putting one unit at plus 124. No matter what, I think it's gonna be a good fight. I just think the kickboxer, he's training well, he's doing everything smart. I think he just gets it done. And it's just like the way you can break this down to, does the D1 wrestler keep it down, or does he try to show that like, hey, I can still stand and bang with an elite kickboxer? We'll see what happens. My guess is I don't think Abdul-Malik's gonna be that dumb, but I do think Belgaroui will be able to hold him off. So, and the other thing too is I think it's underrated of aspect, even though it is MMA. Belgaroui has been like fighting for a while. He has elite combat IQ, so I think he'll be able to figure out range, timing, and then just maintain the flow of the fight to pace that he. next, this is going to be a straight bet. It's Terrence McKinney versus Kyle Nelson. And if you've watched a McKinney fight, you know how it goes. It's over in round one, win or lose, to hit his detriment or not. He's either taking him out or losing. And it's insane too, because in his whole career, I think McKinney has only 2 fights in the UFC that have not been finishes in the first round. It's wild. So, I do think because of how unpredictable his fights are, I don't think it's a good idea to bet on McKinney by any means. The way I'm going to attack this, literally, it was in 2023. He had 2 fights that were finishes still in round 2. Everything else in his UFC career has been round. It's like he fought like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times. 10 first round finishes or losses, but fights have been over in the first round. Because he just comes in like a bat from hell and just starts like trying to get it done. So one thing is I respect the hell out of him. He knows that, hey, fighting for long. I'm just gonna figure this out and get the dub, or dial the sword. Kyle, and that's the awkward thing with Kyle Nelson, is he's been susceptible to some of those things. So he is capable. So I can see him also knocking out McKinney and getting it done by just catching him, but he's also been caught too. So the way I'm attacking this fight is, second it log out, of course, it's not the best odds, but I'm gonna do round 2 will not start. So it covers your bases if Nelson does get him, or if McKinney gets Nelson. And I got to have minus 150. I don't love it, but I don't hate it just to get a little bit of action on this fight, because I am pretty confident, 99% sure that round 2 isn't starting. Just like the nature of the way they fight. He fights to McKinney and how he does it. I'm pretty comfortable laying 1 unit. I don't love the minus 150, but it is what it is. Then that brings us to the last fight of the prelims. It will be Bahamondes versus Musayev from Azerbaijan. So this is, I think, Bahamondes' bounce back. So the way I describe this, Bahamondes is, young, up-and-coming fighter and pretty smart fighter. He uses his range very well. He's humongous at 155. He's 6'3", uses his range. I think he just fought someone that was just more experienced and better than him in physique. And, it was an all-out war. They were fighting, trading, doing all that stuff. So even though Bahamondes didn't win, he's had to have learned from this fight. And I think it's going to be great for his development. And the way I like to think about it is in the sense of Bahamondes isn't in his prime yet. He's developing still. I think he's 2 years away from his peak. But I do believe that if physique and him fought and they're both their respective peaks, we're never going to see it, of course, just how it works. Bahamondes will get it done. So I think he's learning from the physique fight. He's gonna come back, and he had enough time off, not that much, but enough where he could learn from that fight, put it into this camp, and go this. I think he's just gonna come away and just put on a dominant performance. Musayev is a solid fighter, but I don't think he is on Bahamondes' level. I think Bahamondes' and the way I'm going to bet this fight's benefit is Musayev is aggressive and explosive, and he wants to land heavy strikes, but I don't think he'll be able to figure out Bahamondes' range. But he's going to put himself in danger, I think, in this fight. Bahamondes does have defensive grappling, but Musayev isn't very offensive oriented with his grappling. He's more like a striker, so he's going to grappling is not his primary strength. They're both well conditioned, and durability. Bahamondes is pretty. He went hand to hand with physique. Physique's no joke. So, Musayev is shown his toughness, but I think he's going to have to put himself in a dangerous situation to get to Bahamondes. So, with that being said, I found we got great odds. Bahamondes is like a heavy favorite, like not heavy favorite, but like enough where I don't want to bet him on the money line. And it was like minus 300 ish. I actually got Bahamondes at plus 110, which is sweet, to win by any knockout, submission, or DQ. Just getting a finish, which I think he will. I'm putting 1 unit on that one. I think that's just like a very smart fight. I think he comes back, wants to put a statement on, and like get himself back in the conversation to get himself up the ladder to be a contender as soon as he's ready to be. So I like that bet. I think that's the way to go because you get some nice odds that I think he'll be able to. I could see, like, I just see this fight having to end because let's say you have, like, you know, unless he's just willing to, like, fight at range. I think he knows that he can't fight at range. So why put himself in that situation? Next is Chase Hooper versus Lance Gibson Jr. This one, you know, unfortunately, I think it's just pretty straightforward. Hooper is just going to outclass Gibson. Like, he could get caught, and he's been caught before. But I think it's going to be a pretty boring fight. If Hooper does, like, you know, Hooper is very capable. Like, I think it's either going to go to decision or Hooper wins by submission. He's a high-level grappler. There's no doubt about that. And Gibson's not bad at grappling, but he's nowhere near that level. So it all depends. Like, Gibson is a better striker than Hooper is, but Hooper is working on it, and he knows that that's the thing that's holding him back in his, like, game to be elite. Is that so? I think we're gonna see a better striking Hooper, where it's still gonna be his game plan to use his striking to get him to the ground and finish him. But we're gonna see, I think, a little bit of a level up by this. Yeah, I think it's gonna be Hooper. You know, just wins. It's just there's no bets I like. Nothing like, you know, even Hooper by submission or anything like that, or this fight going the distance. There just was not anything that great that, like, so other than I'm going to put him on the lottery ticket, Hooper money line. There was just nothing that, like, was being like, oh, hey, you're getting great odds, you got to take this. Yeah, because there's just everything at it, like, by decision plus 200 might be it. I just don't know if it's going to be decision. Like, I couldn't get a read, like, where I'm like, hey, I'm feeling like this is how he's going to finish it. But, you know, if I was forced to choose, I actually don't hate Hooper by decision at plus 200. I'm just really, you know, I'd rather keep my units and put them out somewhere else tonight for this card. Next is the big boys, the heavyweight division. Marcin Tybura versus Tyrell Fortune. This one, I kept it simple where I just think, you know, people are underrating Tybura. He's fought some good dudes. You know, he's lost to some good dudes, and he's beaten some good dudes. And you're getting him as a dog. I think he'll be able to outwear, like, I think Fortune can catch him, Tybura, and that's, you know, he can, you know, his last 3 fights, like, you know, in the regional thing, Fortune's won by doctor stoppage KO. That's, like, you know, pretty good. But I think Tybura can, like, because he's just such a better grappler too, I think he's just going to be able to control the fight a little bit more and just, like, you know, get that. Like, Tybura's lost, like, Aspinall, Spivak, Delaja, like, those kind of dudes, and then he's also beaten, like, Tai Tuivasa. He lost to Volkov, beat Greg Hardy, all these other, like, Dinaz, Parkin. So everyone who's supposed to beat, he's beaten, and the guys are a little bit better than him. He's that. So I think this screams a little bit similar to, like, a Nathaniel Wood, Danny Silva, where, like, people are just hyping up this guy that hasn't really faced the UFC competition. This guy has. You know, even though he is 40, I just think he gets it done. And you're getting him as a dog, so I think it's just an easy pick. I got him when I put the bet in today. I got him at plus 110. So I was like, yeah, I'll take it. I'll put 1 unit on very easily. Might as well, like, I think it's worth the risk. Next is another exciting women's flyweight fight, Casey O'Neill versus Gabriela Fernandez. This one, you know, Casey O'Neill was very hyped up. She's coming back off a layoff from like 2024 August. So this is her first fight in a minute. But she's done well when she has been fighting. Like, she's 3-2 in her last 5 fights. Lost to Silva, beat Santos, beat Modafi, beat Shevchenko's sister. Had some good wins and, some good losses. Like, even though Silva's not in the UFC anymore, she's not a bad fighter. And then Fernandez herself is up to come. She was like the last person to beat Wang Kong. She beat Carly Judas. She's pretty good too. It's gonna be an even fight. I think it's. With that being said, because I think it's such a toss up. I just don't have a good read. Like, I think it could go either way. I think O'Neal is gonna win, but I just not worth putting a unit on where like she's not getting that much of the odds. No one's like screaming like that. We're like is like Grasso level. So this is one of those fights where like even though O'Neal's like a better striker than her, grappling's kind of even cardio. The biggest worry is because O'Neal was on like if O'Neal didn't have the layoff, she fought like a couple months ago, I would be much more putting money on her. Because I think she's gonna win. And don't get me wrong, I might be a little bit recency bias where Zawadi last week, I thought he was a better fighter. The layoff like kind of scared me, so I didn't think it was good to do the bet. And then Zawadi just put it on rocks. So this I think has similar vibes. So I'm just gonna avoid because we have some good bets and we have some good odds that it's potentially gonna be a good night for us. I think we can afford to lose this. And then next is my favorite prospect right now to watch, Navajo Sterling versus Bruno Lopez. This is going to be a fun fight. I think Bruno's a good good competition for him. Sterling, is out to prove something because like he's won all his like UFC fights, but they've all been the decision where like people are wondering like he's gotten finishes at the Contender Series and like the other fights, but he hasn't gotten it yet in the UFC. Just 3 dominant decision wins. Like they were no question Sterling won. What is it going to happen where like Lopez, 2 fights in the UFC, a very similar thing. Lost to Jacoby, which, Dustin's not a bad fighter. Beat Gazda, I'm going to butcher it. Gazda Solov. And it got a KO win in the Contender Series and was LFA. Then, like, he's fought at high level regional promotions as well. I think this will be a good fight. I just don't see Lopez. So, like, and then also, until I see Sterling put it on and show his full ceiling and, like, just let his hands go and just be aggressive and like just overwhelm the opponent and land all the things you want to land and just show that, hey, I am way better than you, which he is, I think has a huge ceiling. I think the smart play is just betting Sterling again by decision. Cause like, so I saw that you could get the fight will go the distance at plus 200, but when you can get Sterling by decision at plus 275, it doesn't make sense to not just get the 75 extra juice on your bet because Lopez, if he wins this fight, I don't see him winning any other way but getting a knockout or submission, but getting a finish. Whereas Sterling, he's already proven that he's willing to just fight 3 rounds and just beat the shit out of his guy, and he will do that and just not do with that. And that's the thing is Lopez is like a solid grappler, not amazing, not shit, but I don't think it's good enough where he will be able to assert his will on that. So, like, this stays standing Sterling's fight to win. I just think he gets it. Like, I'm not betting Sterling by himself at, like, minus, like, 600-700, whatever he's at now. But getting him at plus 275, I think it's worth it. I was even thinking about knockout, but it's just minus 175. That's a little bit too rich for my blood. This one, if I lose out, I lose out. But history's on our side where, like, Sterling's last 3 fights have been by decision. I don't think anything's changing. And then, we always reestablish. So if he does get this knockout win or like wins by finish, next time Sterling fights, we'll reevaluate, see how the odds are, and then go that. But I think it's just, we don't have to overthink this. Just click, get plus 275, click the decision, go from there. And then now I want to mention a fun 3-leg parlay I'm going to do that I think, you were getting great odds on, and you get action on all these guys and on their money line. Because that's why I went kind of aggressive with Sterling by method and Bahamondes by finish because, the regular odds just weren't worth it. But if you do a small 3-leg parlay with Izzy money line, Bahamondes money line, and Sterling money line, we actually get it at plus 164, which it's sick. We get 3 favorites and 3 guys I'm 99% sure win. And the 1% chance they lose is just like, is he getting caught by Pyfer because he has that power? Bahamondes getting caught. And I just don't see Sterling losing, honestly. He is like, I think, one of the locks. Getting at plus 164, getting action on all 3 at that, and, getting plus odds. I think it's worth it, especially 3 legs. Parlays, like, unless I'm doing like a lottery ticket type thing, I like to keep it like 2 or 3, and it's only to get action on certain fights that I know these guys are going to win, but they're just too expensive odd-wise to get them individually. So we try to build them up. And, we're still giving some vig to the sports book. So don't get me wrong. It's not like it's just like a smart math play or anything, but this is just, I think, if you want to get action on these fights that you think they're going to happen, it's a good way to get action. Just be aware. That's why I keep them small, like 2 or 3. Over time, we're still, might miss out, but I don't think this is going to be one of those times. And then now we are off to Ricky Simon and Adrian Yanez. This one, I like to break it down. It's Yanez coming back off a layoff, but he's the striker. Ricky Simon, great grappler. What it boils down to is Ricky Simon, and not as competent of a striker as Yanez is. Like, if they keep this fight standing, like, Yanez is going to pick apart Simon unless like something drastic happens. But Ricky is such a better wrestler than Yanez that he can't control a fight. Like, I think if Ricky wants to like keep this fight on the ground, he will be able to get there on the ground and control it. So I like Ricky in this fight. I think he beats Yanez. That's my pick. I can't see Yanez winning, but I just don't see Ricky. Like, dude, he's beaten Rob. He's beaten some dudes. He's lost to some dudes too, but like, I think Ricky knows that like what he needs to do to win this fight, and he is going to take that route. And then last fight is Alexia versus Bruno Brazil. This one's interesting. It's like a rematch from back when, like 2019. So I throw that shit out the window because it is Alexia's only loss is to Brazil. I think this fight is Alexia's to win. She's just been, to the moon since that loss, and like just has put on dominant performances and just fighting well. With that, one bet I like that I put 1 unit on is Alexia and Brazil. Like, this fight not going the distance. Even though I think Brazil, if she wins, it'll be a decision win. I just don't see Alexia letting this fight go to the judges' card. So I got it at plus 150. So I took a swing at it. She has a very good submission game. Even though, ironically, Brazil did guillotine her in their last fight, I think Alexia gets it. So there's that. Those are, I think, all my picks individually. And now for my favorite segment, the overrated fight or fighter of the evening, I think I am going to have to go is just Chase Hooper. Dude is skilled and great grappler. It's just like, he's just not worth betting. There's nothing I could find that he's like, even Bahamondes, we got plus odds on something that I think could happen. Just Hooper's kind of boring, not my kind of fighter. And he just got caught a couple times. I just don't think it's worth it. So he's my overrated fight of the night and fighter of the night. And next, my favorite part is my lottery ticket. So lottery ticket for this week, I think I'm just gonna follow my fight predictions like I usually do. I'm gonna put half a unit on. And it's gonna be Izzy, moneyline, Grasso, Chiesa, Douglas, Belgaroui, McKinney, Bahamondes, Hooper, which sucks, he might just break it. Tybura, O'Neal, Sterling, Simon, and Raniero, Alexia. So that's it for that. I will catch you guys next week for another exciting UFC card, and see you then.